Last year, you made a powerful statement saying the reason people are watching women's basketball is not just because of one player, but because of you too. A year later, do you feel like you're
Next question.
It all began with a single question, one that Angel Reese never truly answered. Do you think people are watching because of Caitlin Clark, or because of you? A reporter asked. Angel smirked, paused, and said just 2 words. Next question. That moment went viral, but not for the reasons she expected. Those 2 words symbolized a growing divide in women's basketball, between those who embraced the future and those who feared it. What came next didn't just reshape the WNBA. It changed the very culture of the sport.
Last year, bless their hearts, finally got a star. And they didn't know that. They couldn't figure it out. Well, we don't want to put too much Caitlin Clark on. Nope, every game. More Caitlin Clark all the time, always. Caitlin Clark is easily the most influential athlete in a team sport since Michael Jordan.
When Caitlin Clark entered the WNBA, the world changed overnight. Her impact wasn't gradual, it was explosive. Arenas sold out, viewership shattered records, and millions of new fans flooded in. The WNBA was finally being talked about on every major network, every sports podcast, every social feed. Yet, inside the league, not everyone was celebrating. There was tension, whispers of resentment and jealousy. Instead of embracing Clark as the generational star she was, some questioned the hype. They called it privilege, called her fans delusional, and dismissed her as a media product. What they didn't realize was that Caitlin Clark was the moment the league had been waiting for.
You watching women's basketball, it's not just because of one person, it's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
The WNBA had produced legends before: AJA Wilson, Breanna Stewart, Kelsey Plum, incredible athletes who defined eras. But none of them moved the needle like Clark. For years, players begged for coverage, sponsorships, and visibility. Then Caitlin showed up, and the spotlight finally arrived. But it didn't shine evenly. That imbalance hurt. Denial was the first reaction. Clips surfaced of veterans reminding reporters, there's more than just Caitlin Clark. Analysts rolled their eyes. Executives quietly warned media outlets not to overdo it. They didn't understand. This wasn't hype. This was a cultural shift.
Her stats are today, 20 points, 8.4 assists, 6 rebounds.
That's crazy.
But 5 points.
When denial failed, anger followed. Clark wasn't just hyped, she was dominating. Her deep threes, laser passes, and relentless pace electrified crowds. Every time she stepped on the court, the atmosphere changed. But instead of admiration, some opponents responded with hostility: hard fouls, off-ball hits, and silent whistles from the refs. The line between competition and resentment blurred. Clips of Caitlin taking brutal hits went viral, and fans began asking one question: why is the league letting this happen?
I think there's more than just that are coming. What will the league have in store for them when they get there?
Look, SVP, reality is coming.
But Caitlin Clark didn't flinch. She didn't complain. She absorbed it all and came back stronger. After the Olympic break, she returned like a storm, leading her team in points, assists, and wins. Every game became must-see television. Her leadership grew. Her poise silenced critics. And for the first time, people began to see that this wasn't about one player being overhyped. It was about one player redefining greatness.
Voting last season. Clark, hammer. 3 Sky players coming over. Here's Clark for 29 points, gets tripped up.
Is good. Kennedy Carter now with 12 points off the bench.
The truth was simple. Greatness doesn't ask for permission. Clark's fan base grew beyond basketball. She became a cultural icon. Her jersey sales broke league records. Little girls showed up courtside holding homemade signs that read, "I'm here because of Caitlin." This wasn't just fandom. It was a movement. She inspired young athletes to believe that women's basketball could be exciting, electric, and powerful. She made the game cool again.
Just the structure of the way media plays out race. So last night we read Time magazine where Caitlin Clark was named Athlete of the Year. Why couldn't they have put the whole WNBA on that cover?
The one thing that I cannot deny is the amount of little girls that were showing up to follow her. Little girls with their parents and the fervor and the energy there.
Why her?
Same thing.
Why her?
Well, but she was a white girl from the middle of America.
Then came the shift, the moment when even her critics had to acknowledge the truth. Veterans who once doubted her began realizing Caitlin wasn't the enemy. She was the future. Players like Sophie Cunningham, Natasha Howard, and Dana Borner wanted to join Indiana, not for bigger contracts, but because they wanted to play with Caitlin Clark. The Indiana Fever suddenly transformed from a rebuilding team to the epicenter of the WNBA's new golden age.
And I think she's going to have an incredible career in the WNBA. There are women that were worthy of coverage prior to her arriving, and I just will not be silenced when it comes to it.
For the first time in decades, the WNBA was learning a hard truth. You can't fight a movement built on passion. Caitlin didn't just bring fans, she brought hope. Hope that the league could finally rival men's sports in excitement and entertainment. Hope that little girls watching on TV could dream of being superstars too. She wasn't just playing basketball, she was changing the narrative of what women's sports could be.
And for the first time in history, WNBA games will be played in the United Center. The Chicago Sky will host the Indiana.
Like Michael Jordan in 1984, Caitlin Clark didn't join a league, she revived it. Her name became synonymous with ratings, revenue, and relevance. She made people care. For the first time, casual fans debated WNBA stats at the bar, argued over MVP predictions, and tuned in not out of obligation, but excitement. And those who doubted her? They were forced to watch from the sidelines, realizing she wasn't the villain, she was the vision.
The average reported ticket price was $650. Now, if you do the math here and you do 15,000 people times $650, that is almost $9.75 million just for a WNBA preseason.
If you're watching this, you already know, Caitlin Clark's story is only beginning. Every game feels like a chapter in a historic book being written in real time. So if you want to witness history unfold, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because this revolution is just getting started. Caitlin Clark isn't just playing for Indiana, she's playing for every dreamer who believes the impossible can happen.
Ever had teams have to get into larger arenas to play against a team? No, we have not. So if we have more eyeballs on the game and Caitlin Clark brings that, why would we feel some kind of way because she has more television games? I think we have to understand that when one player eats, we all eat. And as we all get more opportunities, it just opens it up for everyone else.
Caitlin Clark a problem, bro.
Yeah, see that.
I just think about my rookie year, and I think about how I came into the league, and I'm like, bro, it was such a crazy transition for me to just understand what it's like to play at the pro level. And it's like this girl coming in as a rookie and going she broke the record for assists. I don't think people really understand how crazy that is to do as a rookie, your first year doing this. But that's another episode. Shout out to Caitlin, bro.
The plays that she was making still, despite all that, was insane. But people were so caught up in the logo threes and the 20 3-point attempts per game, which absolutely I understand that. It was so much fun to watch. But I always said she could potentially be one of the best point guards to ever play in the WNBA.
They said she was overhyped. They said the league didn't need her. But when the numbers came in, they told a different story. Caitlin Clark didn't just change the WNBA, she redefined it. Sold out arenas, shattered TV ratings, sponsorships flooding in, merchandise flying off shelves. Every time she touched the court, the league's value rose. But as her star rose, so did the tension. Veterans, media critics, and old-school fans struggled to adjust to this new reality, until one unforgettable game changed everything.
Fans filed outside in droves, getting ready at Carver Hawkeye Arena, and watch parties all around Iowa City. Everybody wants to catch a glimpse of Iowa's favorite daughter, Caitlin Clark, returning home.
Even before she touched a WNBA court, Caitlin was already a national phenomenon. In college, her logo threes pulled in audiences that outdrew NBA games. Her Iowa matchups had record-breaking viewerships and ticket resales rivaling professional finals. But the true shock came in the WNBA preseason, when a 15,000-seat arena sold out for an exhibition game. That had never happened before in the history of the league. The message was clear. A new era had begun.
Into the day for Brazil. Here's Clark. Wow! You bet! From beyond the logo.
But success never comes without a price. While fans adored her, some veterans felt overshadowed. They questioned whether the spotlight was deserved or just convenient. Analysts debated privilege versus performance. And when her college rivalry with Angel Reese carried over into the pros, things got heated. Hard fouls, cold handshakes, and viral stare-downs became part of every game. It wasn't just basketball anymore. It was narrative, emotion, and pride all colliding on national television.
I think one of the things I love about Caitlin the most is her understanding and like willingness to like meet the moment and like do the thing that she knows everyone wants her to do.
She knows what the people.
She broke the record making that shot to begin with. There's just like a certain star quality and like star power there, but it takes you being confident enough, willing enough to be like, oh no, I know what you want. Come here. I'm gonna give it to you. I loved it so much. I just think it's great. I love when athletes like have that like bring the cameras right over here.
Well,
it's so fun.
I mean, I couldn't agree more. She knows.
But over time, the noise faded because the results spoke for themselves. Caitlin Clark had one of the most impactful rookie seasons in league history, breaking records, leading the Fever to relevance, and capturing the hearts of fans across the world. From ticket sales to TV contracts, the Caitlin Clark effect was no longer a theory, it was fact. Even her loudest critics fell silent. Some began showing respect, not with words, but with quiet acknowledgement, the kind reserved for greatness.
1.3 million people watched it on ESPN. 1.3 million people, and put that in perspective, just between us. No NBA preseason game has had that audience in the last 7 years. Only 2 preseason games in the NBA have had that audience in the last 15 years. More people watched this preseason game than game 1 of last year's WNBA finals. No MLB spring training game has ever come close. The most is when 912,000 people watched the Yankees-Phillies, and that was 20 years ago. 1.3 million people watched Caitlin Clark.
Now, heading into her next season, Caitlin Clark stands as more than an athlete. She's a movement, a cultural phenomenon, a once-in-a-generation talent who didn't just play in the WNBA, she transformed it. And as analysts debate her MVP potential, fans know the truth. No league, no sport, no era has ever seen a rise quite like hers. Caitlin Clark is not just rewriting the history of women's basketball, she's redefining who gets to write history at all.
Win MVP, should she be?
Yeah, I think so. When you talk about Caitlin Clark, she averaged 19 points, 8 assists. I love that you're counting for me. I need you to count out loud. 19 points, 8 assists last season, but had an even better finish to the season after the All-Star break, after the Olympic break. She lit it up. What did she average? 12 assists during that time? She now has more pieces around her, more teammates she can get the ball to, and she had a full off season.
It is a balance, but she's a generational talent. No league's ever about one player, but in this case, Caitlin brought tens of millions of new viewers into the W, and there's no denying that impact. Not just in the WNBA, but the world of sports. Adam and I talk all the time about she's the most popular athlete in America,